Lucy, in order to grow a town, must have either industry or a college, and a college makes for a much better community. Cleveland lawyer Audley W. Shands to his sister-in-law, Judge Lucy Somerville Haworth, in 1923. The campaign to locate Delta State in Cleveland began several years before the doors opened for the first quarter semester in 1925. Records show that the subject was brought up for discussion at a 1910 meeting of the Cleveland Business Men's League. Dozens of public meetings and presentations to civic clubs over several years built momentum within the community to petition the legislature to place a state normal college on the grounds of the closed agricultural high school. With the Bolivar County Teachers Association, the county superintendents of education, notable legislators of the Delta, and Cleveland citizenry all in favor of the proposal for a normal college. Senators Roberts and Marshall would take the idea all the way to the State House floor, sponsoring Senate Bill No. 235, introduced on February the 19th of 1924 to create Delta State Teachers College. However, the battle was hardly over, for there were other towns in the Delta who sought to nurture a normal college. Governor Whitfield signed the bill on April the 9th, 1924, officially granting the establishment of Delta State Teachers College. But there was one major caveat. Cleveland was not guaranteed to be the home of the newly approved college. The determined efforts of many, a financial commitment of the townspeople of Cleveland, contribution of land and existing buildings, and perhaps the removal of the Black Bear Saloon on Court Street would be rewarded when on July the 11th, 1924, the Legislative Site Committee voted 3-2 to locate the college at Cleveland. The determined spirit which brought Delta State Teachers College to Cleveland nurtured and housed it within 3 buildings of Hill, Hardy, and Taylor Halls, in the spirit that still lives in the campus and community of today. The historic first year of Delta State Teachers College was under the guidance of Jim Broome, an energetic leader who declared that service is the purpose of the college. Our first president was officially installed on February the 14th of 1925. The former agricultural high school closed several years before plans for Delta State Teachers College developed and served as the foundation for the early campus. Hardy, Hill, and Taylor Halls formed a semicircle welcome at the western end of Court Street, embodying the very essence of the firm and reciprocated bond of the campus to the town. President Broome must have been a dynamic recruiter, for he convinced 10 men and women of excellent educational backgrounds and experience to relocate to Bolivar County, Mississippi. Perhaps it was the promise of a new home in a year or two, or the adventure of beginning something greater than himself. In August of 1925, Dean Ziegel would leave his native Missouri along with his wife and 4 children to guide the newly created college in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. Tragically, President Broome died in May of 1926 after having witnessed the fall quarter enrollment of 97, the winter quarter 91, and the spring quarter 98. Broome had carefully selected faculty and staff who would pursue the goal of providing excellent instruction for Mississippi's teachers, and William Marion Keithley was tapped as the next president of the young college. In 1928, the institution embarked on its first major building program, featuring Broome Memorial Administration Building, central to the other new buildings being constructed from the $365,000 appropriations designated to build a dining hall, a residence hall for women, and a central heating plant in addition to the administration building. From our first president through to our 8th, a common thread of commitment to building something honest and good for our future has guided many decisions along the way and has bound our campus together. From quarter to quarter in those first years, campus filled in quite well with a steadily growing student population. To govern those new students, one of the most revered and often discussed tomes was introduced, the Green Book. Once the ultimate voice on decisions of decorum, dress, and dating, the Green Book held the answers to any student's dilemma. The first volume was printed in 1929 and contained instructions for registration, scholarship requirements, and general guidelines on how Delta State Teachers College students should behave themselves on campus and in the community. The students at Delta State Teachers College wanted a newspaper, and by October the 27th of 1926, they had held elections for the newspaper staffers. Molly Bedwell, who would later receive the first degree conferred by the college, won the contest to select the name for the new publication, and the Miss Delta was off and running. The first few years, Miss Delta was a combination newspaper yearbook. By 1928, with the Broome taking over as the official yearbook, Miss Delta turned more to a literary magazine with the dual purpose of bringing college news and humor and promoting interest in journalism. It was the youngest college paper in the state. Carrying a variety of banners over the years, the student-led newspaper physically changed from a small folded assembly to the more recognizable newspaper-style format sometime after 1938. Although it would take a full year for athletics to debut on campus, in 1925, the student body agreed that Delta State Teachers College would have its mascot green and whites. The first football field was prepared in 1926 on the site of today's Young Malden Cafeteria. A.L. Young recalled in 1970 that the particular spot selected for the playing field was filled up with hog wallows. Cleveland resident Milton Smith volunteered the services of his tractor to disc the wallows and pulled around an old train rail found on campus until the rail was fairly smooth. In 1936, Delta State brought in Coach A.D. Dixon, who reformed the football team. During the 1935 season, the Statesman held a 1-8 record and was considered a breather by SIAA teams. With Coach Dixon, the Statesmen had their best season with an overall record of 5-4. At the end of the year, Dixon felt his 1936 football team exceeded all groups he had ever worked with in cooperative spirit. Between 1929 and 1931, the girls basketball team picked up 3 state championships and were the Mississippi Valley Conference champions. The team became known as the Rabbitfoot Squad for their quickness. Unfortunately, the team was disbanded after 1931 and was not reinstated until 1973. Known as the mother of modern college women's basketball, Margaret Wade was part of that 1931 MVC championship team.